Hi YouTube family, CD Light here. This is D. I'm about to do an oil change, and we're going to do an oil change on 2015 Kawasaki Vulcan S. As you see, we have them on front and rear stands just to make sure we can have plenty of clearance to get to the oil drain plug. So let me show you the setup. So you're going to need you some rear spool right here on both sides. I had this from my older 2005 Kawasaki ZZR, so I just kept them, and they fit on these. I think they're 8 millimeters. And so also this rear stand is from my old bike, and there's a front stand that's from our old bikes. So anyway, we have the rear wheel up, and then we're just going to show you the front. Have the front up also. And we did this because we have this big oil drain pan right here, and we had to make sure we had enough clearance so we can drain the oil. And the bolt is located right here. That's the bolt on the 2015. And so this is a 17 millimeter socket. That's what fits up here. So you need a 17 millimeter socket wrench to get that bolt off. And then once you get that off, you let the oil drain. Then I'm going to end up sliding this pan over. I'm going to get this old oil filter off, and then allow some oil's going to come out of there and drain, and give that a few minutes to drain, and then we'll proceed with putting the new stuff on. So stay tuned. Okay, I just want to show you, this is the oil window. It shows you how much oil is actually in the motorcycle. We want it between this, there's a top and a bottom marker on both sides, and you want the oil between there. And the motorcycle takes 1.9 quarts of oil. I have 2 quarts, and then I'm gonna show you how to get 1.9 that I picked up from another YouTuber, Trip on Wheels. And he was, I liked his little method, his secret weapon. We're going to use that and try that, and hopefully it works for me. This is where you put the fresh oil in once everything's drained and you got the new filter on. You're going to get a funnel and put the fresh oil in here and just kind of gauge and see it, make sure it gets level. Don't go over that top line because it's been overfilled then. Alright, I have an oil filter wrench to take the old one off. This is very old. Couldn't tell you what the measurements are. But the Fram filter I have is a PH6017A. I went to the local events, actually O'Reilly's here, and I was not able to find a filter, so I had to order online from Amazon. But essentially, this is the new filter. And then what I'm going to do when I take the old one off, essentially I'm putting this oil filter wrench around it, and it tightens, and then it'll unscrew the old one. Okay, well that was hard at first, but then once it got moving, it took no time to get it off. Like, just moving this part of the ratchet, and here comes the oil. There's a washer that came off with it right here that's attached, so make sure you don't lose that, because you're going to need that when you put it back up there. And from what I've seen with other videos, you don't have to replace that washer every time you do an oil change. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and reverse this so when I come back to put it back on, I'm not turning it the wrong way. So we're going to let that drain and I will be right back. Okay, as you see, we made some changes. We took away the big oil pan, put this here for now because I needed the room to be able to get this old oil filter off. Again, we probably could have used this from the get-go, but I didn't know how much was going to come out and if it was going to be a lot of force behind it. As for my motorcycle, there was not a lot of force behind the oil, so this probably would have worked just fine and probably would have contained everything. Or even something like this could take care of it. So let's see if I can get this off. Same things apply. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay, I gotta put it up there this way so it'll tighten. Kind of push on it and then hopefully push up.
A little lower.
There we go, it's starting to turn. Need more leverage. And probably like the oil filter wrenches that look like caps would probably work better than this, but I have this in my possession. Now I can turn it with my hand and get the oil out. Look like most of the oil was in here, but oh, sorry, see. It's splattered everywhere. Clean up on aisle 7.
Now I got a polished garage floor.
Nice shiny floor. The owner said he had changed the oil about 1,000 miles before I took possession of it. But, you know, I want to change the oil myself and make sure it's clean. It doesn't look too bad, but at least I know if I change the oil, it'll be fresh oil and I'll know how many miles I'll have on this actual oil change. All right, so as you see, it's draining. We're gonna let it drain and I will be right back. I just want to show you, I'm in the garage. I don't like laying on the concrete floor because it's hard and it hurts. So I actually have a kid's bean bag. This was my son's bean bag from when they were like toddlers. And we were going to throw them out. But then I said, well, we could use these things for like when we need to do repairs or little DIYs on our Spider, the Riker, and now the Vulcan S, or you know, just anything we need to work on my Camaro. And so these things are very handy. You can lay on them, you can sit up on them, you can sit on them. They just make it a lot easier than when you're working on a concrete floor. And you know, trying to get to an oil filter like that can be kind of, it's low down there. So, you know, unless you're in your 20s, you might find it a little more challenging to try to get under a motorcycle like that. So if you got something like this, it's pretty handy. We also have things like the knee pad. You put your knees on, but I don't really prefer this. I like to be able to lay down because for some reason I can get more leverage when I'm trying to get the bolts loose and things like that. So I enjoy doing stuff like this. I like changing the oil on my car, the Riker, now the Vulcan. It's just me. I'm not the typical girly girl. I enjoy this kind of stuff. I think I just enjoy working with my hands. Now, don't get me wrong, I love some girl things. I've tinkered with sewing on a sewing machine, crocheting. So, you know, I do those things too, but I guess it's just a thing of working with my hands. I've made curtains for my dining room and my kitchen. I guess, you know, it's just when it comes to, if it's something I want and I can do it and I can come out cheaper cost-wise doing it, I'll do it. Now, if I can't come out cheaper cost-wise, then, you know, I'll go buy it or get somebody else to do it for me. But this to me is fun, so I really like it. Okay, we're back. So I just want to let you see what the oil kind of looked like. Don't mind them particles in there. They're not from the motorcycle. This was just a dirty pan from the get-go. But the last owner said he rode about 1,000 miles, and this is the color. If he did truly ride at 1,000 miles, this is the color of the oil. All right, so we're gonna get back to putting it, plugs back in and everything like that, so we can pour in the new oil. All right, again, this was 17 millimeter. So I'm gonna hand put this back in. It has a washer up there. I let this drain probably for like 40 minutes. And it's just a very slow, but 40 minutes, and I think it's decent. You can put the new oil in without any issue. So I'm going to hand screw this back on. Okay, as tight as I can get it with my hand. And now I'm going to put the 17 millimeter ratchet on and just hand tighten a little more. Alright, make sure I wipe it so when I do put the oil in and start it, I can see if and verify if there are any oil leaks. And what I'm going to do is actually get some of this fresh oil here. I chose to get Vavoline full synthetic 10W40 motor oil. And it's supposed for 4-stroke vehicles. See where it says motorcycle 4-stroke? That's what you want to get. You can get, if you can find a semi-blend, that'll work. You can find a full synthetic. You can even use regular oil. You know, no synthetic oil. But 10 weight 40, motorcycle 4-stroke. All right, so what I'm gonna do is open the new oil. I'm gonna dip my finger in there. Get some on my finger. I'm gonna put it around the ring of the oil filter. All right, we put the new oil to the side, not spill that over. Let's put this one back up here. Okay, I've hand tightened it. So now I'm gonna actually get the oil filter wrench and tighten it, because honestly, I cannot hand tighten as hard as C can hand tighten. So I'm gonna use this wrench for like leverage to tighten it. So if I can get it. Yeah, because it's already turned. My hand, thought it was tight with my hand, but it wasn't as tight as I thought I had it. So I'm using a wrench and that's tightening it. The mainly concern is it's tight enough and sealed enough that it's not gonna leak. All right. Don't over tighten, of course. But I think that's good. We're gonna find out. All right, so now let's go put the oil in. All right, this is the tip that I got from Trip on Two Wheels. Basically, you get a 1/4 measuring cup. I did this in the house. I basically had a 1/4 measuring cup, and I have a plastic bottle that was a water bottle. And you see that black marker on it? That black marker is the level to where I'm going to pour the oil. And that's going to be 1/4 cup of oil when I pour it. This is 1 quart, this is 2 quarts. If you remove 1/4 cup of oil from this, which I'm going to do when I pour it into here, this gives you the 0.9 that you need to fill up your Kawasaki Vulcan. All right, so this is the oil filler cap. I was able to remove it with my hand. If you need help, you could put a cloth around it. Like once it's in there, you could put a cloth around it and then use some pliers and then turn it to get it off. But I was able to do it with my hand. All right, so we're gonna get a funnel and stick it in there. See, it's gonna assist. You have a funnel. This is what I'm using. You could use something else if you want to. I got a standby one. I got this one in case I wanted to use that one. All right, so we're gonna continue to fill this. There's no need to keep recording. You probably know how to put oil in a car, in a motorcycle, in a lawnmower, whatever. So we're gonna cut this off and we'll come back. We're gonna crank it up and make sure everything is running fine and there are no leaks. Okay, I did put the quarter, the 1/4 cup in the little plastic cup over here. So we were filling it up. We got about 4 ounces left in the actual container here. It's about 4 ounces left. Me actually was getting a little nervous because it looks full to me, but I know oil has to go into the actual filter and run through the bike and everything. So what I'm going to do is crank it up. I've closed it back up right here. I'm going to crank it up, let some oil run through because I really want this oil level to be in the proper place between here. So before I put 4 more ounces, I want to actually see this go down some more. All right, I'm going to crank it up and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I cranked up the motorcycle and because it was full before, and so when I cranked it up, I kind of let it run a little bit, not long at all. I just wanted to kind of get the oil moving. So this is kind of where it leveled off at. So we're gonna add the rest, which about 4 or 5 ounces. I just want to be comfortable with it, make sure I wasn't overfilling. So this was just to help anybody in case they had the same concern that I came across. All right, we put the rest of the oil that was there, so it should be 1.9 US quarts of oil in there. And as you see right now it's level. And I am going to crank up the motorcycle and make sure there are no leaks. Make sure you put your caps back on. Okay, I took it for a spin in the neighborhood and so far we didn't see any oil leaks at all. So that's good. Everything looks tightened correctly. Thanks for tuning into my video today. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, comment below. If you have a Kawasaki Vulcan S, tell me your favorite thing about your Kawasaki Vulcan. Again, CD Light, thank you for watching. Bye.